My parents weren't home very much, so I practiced a lot. This is my hand drum. I hold it with my left hand because it's close to how I can feel my heartbeat with my own hand. I hold it because I want it to be reflective. I want my heartbeat to be in sync with the heartbeat of Mother Earth. So I hold the drum with my left hand. Now, I have learned from someone way smarter than me that my left hand is actually controlled by my right brain. And I hold the drumstick with my right hand, and it is controlled by my left brain. Here's where it gets fun. In the anticipation of it coming together and making music, that sound, in the anticipation of that, I activate my frontal vortex. In fact, my entire nervous system gets excited or gets activated where all my good decisions are made. All my good choices are made in my frontal vortex. That's all activated when I think about it coming together. In fact, I've noticed that even me just doing this has gotten you activated. Like you're anticipating it all coming together. Your left brain, your right brain is being activated just as I'm about to bring this all together. Now, they said this was a primitive instrument when I was a kid, but now I know better. This primitive tool connects me to this moment and the next moment. This primitive tool connects me to right now. It's pretty impressive when you think about it, but there's even more to that. This primitive tool connects me to my elders, my ancestors, people who have played the drum. All over the world, there's a drum beating. This primitive instrument is a time traveler. It carries me to the past, to the best wishes of my elders, my ancestors. It carries me to the past and the present. It brings the past into the right now. This primitive instrument is even more special though, because I know that no matter what kind of technology comes to us in the future, people will want to connect to right now. They'll want to remember what it was like to hear a heartbeat, an earth beat, a drum beat. So in the future, as far as my heart and mind can imagine, they'll think about this moment, what we hope for. This primitive instrument carries me from the past, the present, and the future. This primitive instrument connects me to you in this moment, in your life story. I'll remember that I may not know your story. I may not know where you've come from, what you have endured, what skills, gifts, and talents were revealed as you overcame what you came just to walk in this door today. I may never know that, but I know. I know you showed up. For that, I raise my hands in gratitude, and I think, this primitive instrument is also a tool for resilience. I look for the next opportunity to get back on track if I ever make a mistake, and I make mistakes, if I ever I'll sit in my motorhome all by myself and just pick up the drum and exercise resilience. Look for the next opportunity to get back on track. This primitive instrument heals me, makes me think that I am a part of the whole, that I connect to the people around me. Thank you. I had many conversations when I was a young man with my elders, especially my aunties and my uncles. In our tradition, you weren't raised by your parents because they're too close to you. You'll never do anything wrong. Your aunties and your uncles raised you, right? They were the ones that put you on the right track and made sure that you did the right things the right way. And don't worry, my parents raised my cousins too, right? So if anything bad happened to me, they make sure that all the kids around knew. So that's how it worked. And I'm telling you this because I want you to know one thing about art. Art is the qualitative expression of being. That special way that each and every single one of us makes us artists. In fact, I would say that you walking into this room makes you a masterpiece. That the potential for you mastering peace is in you. Walking into this room makes you an artist. Because of all the places you can be in beautiful, beautiful Albany. Is that how you say it? Is that really how you say it? Albany? Okay, now I've heard so many different people always saying Albany, yeah. So are we in the right place? My point is that you showed up. Of all the places you could be, you made the choice to come to an art museum. That special place where you can be who you are while you do what you do. So that makes you an artist. How you know who you are, that's our culture. That's people try to tell me over and over again, America doesn't have a culture. They're a melting pot or a salad bowl. And I say, no, we have a culture. There's a way that we know who we are. Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale. Right? Some of us know that. Kids might not know that, but that's a song about Gilligan on an island, right? That's how we know who we are. Oh, say, can you see? That's how you know who you are. How do you know who we are? It's the way we love one another. First, you got to know who you are. Help someone else know who they are. And love them. Honor them. That's how we know who we are. So I encourage you, love your neighbors. I'm tribal, but that doesn't make me a separatist. In fact, in a healthy tribe, everyone contributes to the well-being of the whole. That's what makes a tribe healthy. I remember talking to my uncle when I came back to my tribe after being in foster care. I was upset about white people. I was grumpy about white people. And he said, son, don't be like that. You know, everything that they have done to us, they're going to do to themselves someday. And then they'll come to us to figure out how to be who they are. Wow. It's hard for me to understand, Uncle. He said, they don't know what they're doing. And that's okay, because they will. We didn't always know what we were doing, but we learned. We learned how to be present to one another. We learned how to love one another with stories. And he said to me, did you, while you were in school, whisper in the ear of a kid, and then it went around the room, and by the time it came back to you, it would be completely different? So yeah, that was fun. He goes, it's a lie. I was like, what? I said, we're from the oral tradition. We told stories like it really mattered. Like a storyteller would stand up in front of people and he would say, or she would say, every word like your life depended on it. You know why? Because it does. That's the importance of a storyteller. A storyteller speaks with every word and intention to save the life of a listener. And it worked. It worked for me. It saved my life. Family and friends of family gathered at the Nooksack Riverside. An elder spoke. His name was Chattaskatum Wichtalem. And you thought Swil Kanim was hard to say. Chattaskatum Wichtalem had something really important he wanted to share with everyone there. And even though they gave him a microphone and a speaker stacks on a stage in front of thousands of people, even though they gave him that microphone, he stepped away from the microphone on that day. Because he wanted us to all hear these words directly from his heart. On that day, Chattaskatum Wichtalem said, Natsiam, that's Chalakasiam. We need to listen to the trees. We need to learn from the trees like our ancestors did. In my mind, I thought that sounds like a bunch of new age hogwash. So I walked up to him after the festival, taking down the speaker stage and his microphone, and he was sitting at a picnic table eating his cold salmon dinner because he was too busy talking to people. And everybody was lined up to talk to him. I got the last in line because I wanted to talk to him about this because I trusted him. Now, why would he throw a whole bunch of new age hogwash at me? So I'm sitting there and I finally get down to being one-on-one with Chattaskatum Wichtalem. Everyone else was gone. And I said, Chattaskatum Wichtalem, what did you really mean? We need to listen to the trees. We need to learn from the trees like our ancestors did. What could a tree teach me? Without missing a beat, Chattaskatum Wichtalem looked up from his paper plate and he looked me square in the eye and he said, Swil Kanim, how long you studied that violin? I thought that was deep. Because all these years, as I have studied the violin, I've been learning from people that are different from me. I learned that every line in the grain of the wood is a symbol of a winter survived, that even trees make their mark during the toughest of times. I told this story in concerts all across the country. I remember one was in Dayton, Ohio, and the Smithsonian in Washington, D.C., and the Palace of Fine Arts in San Francisco. And I came back home to the Lummi Indian Reservation, and I was telling the story one more time because Chattaskatum, which Talem was in the front row. I was telling the story, everybody was hanging on every single word. It was a beautiful thing, but then Chattaskatum, which Talem, he raised his hand and he goes, "Swil Kanim! Swil Kanim!" And I said, "Yes, Chattaskatum, which Talem?" And he said, "My hearing aid, it was turned down that day. I really just wanted to know how long you studied violin." I thought that was deep. He took me up to an old growth forest up near Mount Baker, Washington, and he took me to the base of this tree that was, and we called it the grandmother tree. He had me stand underneath it, and it looked like it went a football field up into the sky. It was huge. And I looked up, and I was so amazed. And he said, "What I want you to do is listen to the tree and tell me what you hear." And so I put my hand on it. I closed my eyes and I listened. But all I could hear was the tree go, creak, 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 creak. Chattaskatum, which Talem, he could tell I heard something. So he says to me, "Swil Kanim, tell me what you hear." And I says to him, "Chattaskatum, which Talem, all I hear is creak, 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 creak." Chattaskatum, which Talem says, "Swil Kanim, you're listening with your ears. Listen with your heart. Watch the branches of the tree. They'll give you a beat to a song. Listen to the birds. They'll sing you a melody. Your job is to just play along." And so I did. And this is the song that came to me on that day. It's called Abord Andante. very much.